Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about the new collection from Too Faced. This is the Pretty Rich collection. This collection is available now. You can find it from the Too Faced website as well as at Ulta and Sephora. If I can find it from any other retailers online, I will link that down in the description box for you. That way you can check it out. We have a lot to talk about, so let's start with the highlighters in this collection. There are 3 highlighters. These are the Diamond Light Multi-Use highlighters. I believe that this one in the shade Diamond Fire really inspired this entire collection because this product has been out for about a year. Too Faced has added 2 new shades. These do have really cute packaging. They're almost like a squishy feeling. It reminds me of a ring box or a jewelry box. I'm sure with the diamond theme, that's what they were going for. These do have a magnetic closure and there's no mirror inside here. The little highlighting product itself is shaped like a diamond. This is really cute. I just like cute stuff, okay? Just let me live. Here are the swatches of all 3 shades. You can see these are really more of like a luminous highlighter and not a really super bright metallic highlighter. So this one is Diamond Fire. This is Fancy Pink Diamond. And then this one is Canary Diamond. I just did a little quick finger swatch for these, so I'm gonna go back over and build them up and show you how these layer. Here they are with a second layer. You can tell these are quite buildable. You can get a lot more pigmentation out of them. I like a highlighter like this that you can control how bright it is, just depending on your mood, depending on your look, how blingy you wanna be. Canary Diamond is a lot more glittery compared to the other 2 shades. Those seem more like that luminous sheen type of highlighter. Canary Diamond, it feels different to the touch and it looks different on the skin as well. It's just more shimmery, more glittery. I am wearing 2 of these colors on my cheeks today. I used Fancy Pink Diamond as a blush topper, and then I used Diamond Fire as my cheekbone highlight. I really like the more subtle sheen type of highlighter, so these are the 2 I gravitate towards more. I bought the Diamond Fire highlighter when it first released last year. I really prefer this Fancy Pink Diamond highlighter. This one just suits my skin tone a little bit better. I like mixing it over a matte blush for an all over shiny cheek. And while I think that the Diamond Fire highlighter is really pretty, I like the finish, it's just more of that iridescent sort of blue toned reflection. And that's not really my favorite, but if you're into a more iridescent, like shifting highlighter, then you'll probably love that one. There is a brush that released alongside these highlighters. This is the Diamond Light highlighting brush. It is $30. I like Too Faced brushes. I think they're really soft. Of course, they're synthetic fiber, so they're cruelty-free. Too Faced is a cruelty-free brand. And while I think this brush is really pretty, for me, this is more of just like a showpiece. Take pictures of it, have it look pretty on your vanity. I don't like this type of brush, just this shape for highlighting. I like something with a little bit more taper or a little bit flatter. This brush shape just doesn't suit my style of highlighting, but if you're into this type of brush, this is a good one. It's just not my preference. In this Pretty Rich collection, there's also a limited edition special version of Too Faced famed Better Than Sex mascara. This one's called Better Than Sex in Diamonds. This one's priced at $24 and it's exactly the same as their regular Better Than Sex mascara. The formula, the brush, all that's the same. This just has a packaging makeover with these little blingy rhinestones on the outside. Now let's talk about lips. There are 6 lip glosses in the Pretty Rich collection. This is the Rich and Dazzling High Shine Lip Gloss. Of the 6 shades, one of these glosses is released in collaboration with Jordan Woods. Her shade is called Social Butterfly and it looks exactly the same as all the other glosses, it just has her signature on the front. These glosses have the flat paddle style applicator. I'm gonna go ahead and show you lip swatches of all 6 shades and then we'll get to the eyeshadow palette. First up we have the shade All the Stars. This one is a sparkling clear gloss with pink, blue, and violet glitters. Next up we have Sunset Crush. This is a sparkling peachy pink with pink glitter. This is Social Butterfly. This is the Jordan Woods shade, and it's a sparkling apricot with pink and gold glitter. Next up is the shade Raisin the Roof. This is the shade I'm wearing throughout the talking portions of the video. It's a sparkling raspberry blush with silver glitters. Now we have Pretty Penny. This is a sparkling chai with gold and silver glitter. And lastly, the brightest of the bunch, this is 401K. It's a sparkling electric violet with pink, purple, and silver glitter. When it comes to these glosses, I think that because they are these really, really sparkly finishes, there's not too much difference between them. So if you're into a really, really glittery gloss, I would recommend these. I think they're really pretty. They don't feel super gritty on my lips, which is my main gripe with a lot of these glittery glosses. Plus, I like this packaging. I know a lot of people are probably gonna say that it's like childish or whatever, but that's kind of what I like about it. It appeals to the little girl in me that loved Polly Pocket and still wants to like hang on to that feeling. So I think these are really cute. If you like glitter gloss, I would recommend just picking up one. Aside from this purple shade called 401K, I think they all end up looking pretty similar on the lips. I tend to prefer the more nudie, pinky sparkle kind of shades, but I do think that 401K, the purple shade, and then the lightest one called All the Stars, I think these are the most different. So if you're looking for something different, I would recommend these two. Personal preference, I just like the more nudie pink shades, but I do think that those in general come off looking pretty similar, so probably just need one. Now let's talk about the Pretty Rich eyeshadow palette. At least for me, the palette in a collection is always like the star of the show, the thing that I'm the most excited about. This palette is priced at $49. It does have the very similar packaging to the highlighters, that sort of squishy jewelry box type of feeling. Again, we're getting a magnetic closure on this. This palette does come with a little mirror inside here. I kind of wish that the mirror was bigger, but I do find this useful when using the palette. Inside there are 16 eyeshadow shades. We're seeing 4 mattes and then 4 that are the new pressed glitter formula. These are a self-adhesive glitter, so you do not need glitter glue. I don't think that glitter glue would hurt, but I've just been wearing these applied with my finger with no glitter glue or anything like that, and they've been working just fine for me. The remaining 8 shades are different kinds of shimmers. Some are a lot more metallic, some are more of like a satiny, subtle shimmer. I'm gonna go ahead and show you some swatches of this palette. I am doing things a little bit differently. Typically for my palette swatches, I do a finger and a brush swatch. However, for this particular palette, I would recommend using the majority of the shades applied with your finger. The only shades that I really like to use a brush for are the mattes, and there's only 4 mattes. So I'm just gonna do finger swatches so that you can see all these shades applied to the skin. I also have 2 tutorials for you. I did 2 different looks for this palette, so we'll get to the tutorial after the swatches. Here's the top row of the palette. We're starting off with one of those pressed glitters. Just look at how shiny and beautiful this is. This is Diamonds for Breakfast. Next up we have 2 of the matte shades from the palette. First is an off-white matte shade called It's Designer. Next up we have Fancy That. This is a medium mauve matte. And lastly, one of the more satiny, subtle shimmers. This one's called Filthy Rich. Here's the second row from the Pretty Rich palette. We have a shimmery, iridescent, white, pink, violet shifting shade. This one's called Clutch Your Pearls. Next up is Princess Cut. This is a peach to gold shimmer with silver glitters. Here's another one of the pressed glitters. This one's called Diamond Glitterati, and it is a bright pink glitter. And lastly, a soft rose shimmer. This one is called Highly Selective. This is the third row from the palette. I mean, this gold glitter is so pretty. This one's called Fluent in Diamonds. Next, a nice warm tan matte shade, perfect transition shade. This one's called It's Cashmere. A subtle warm gold shimmer called Don't Care At All. Don't Care At All. And a warm deep reddish brown. This is the last matte in the palette and it's called Oh That's Rich. I'm mesmerized by this color. Now we are at the bottom row of this palette. First we have a matte black with silver glitters. This one is Coal Under Pressure. Next, a shimmery gunmetal shade called Silver Spoon. This really shimmery royal blue shade is called Set the Jewel Tone. And this is the last pressed glitter in the palette. This one's called Diamond Life. Now that you've seen the swatches of the palette, I'm going to show you two different tutorials. The first one is using one of the pressed glitters. It's a little bit more colorful, a lot more in-your-face glam. And then the second look is the one that I'm wearing now, where I chose not to use any of the pressed glitters, just so you could see a more toned down look from this palette as well. So I'm going to show you two quick looks with the Pretty Rich palette, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end. We're starting off this glittery eyeshadow tutorial the same way I start every eyeshadow tutorial, using my MAC paint pot as my eye base, and then I'm going to set that eye base using this off-white matte shade called It's Designer from the Pretty Rich palette. Next, I'm taking It's Cashmere and building that into my crease as my transition shade. I did layer this up because I didn't want to go in too dark too quickly, since I will be applying a lot of shades. I also took the shade It's Cashmere along my lower lash line. Now I'm going to start adding some depth on the outer part of my eye, so I mixed Highly Selective and a matte shade called Oh That's Rich. This deeper matte shade is really surprisingly quite pigmented, so I did blend that with my finger a little bit, and then I went back over with the Highly Selective shade to blend over the rest of my lid. I took a little bit of Princess Cut and also using my finger applied that to the inner part of my eye, and then I added my inner corner highlight shade. This is Clutch Your Pearls, just adding that on with a small detail brush around the entire inner part of my eye. And for the last touch, of course, I used Diamond Glitterati, just took a little bit of that on my finger and very gently patted it over my entire eyelid with the most concentrated amount in the center. And I decided to add a little bit more drama, so I just blended the outer edge with the shade Oh That's Rich. Of course, I curled my lashes and added some mascara, and this is the finished look. This is by far my favorite look that I do with this palette. I love this pink glitter so much. Now let's get into the more toned down look. Of course, I had pre-prepped my eye with my MAC Painterly paint pot. Then I just set it like I did in the first look. Now for my transition, I'm using this more mauve-y toned shade called Fancy That and building that really lightly into the crease and a little bit onto the outer part of my eye as well. Then I'm going to take the shade called Filthy Rich, and using my finger, I'm going to tap that on the outer part of my eye. This applies so much better with a finger than with a brush. Now, same method, I'm going to apply Don't Care At All to the inner half of my lid. This is a really pretty simple, subtle look. I decided to take my original transition shade, that matte called Fancy That, and put that lightly along my lower lash line. Again, taking Clutch Your Pearls for my inner corner highlight, same little flat detail brush for that. Curled my lashes and added some of my NARS CLIMAX mascara, and that's the finished look. I wanted to give you a range of looks here and show you that you really can do a more simple, subtle look with this palette if you want to. It doesn't have to be all glitter and diamonds. This is actually quite wearable as well. When it comes to this palette, I have very mixed feelings. Overall, the packaging of this collection is pretty cute. I just love the fact that Too Faced is so extra and they just really own the kitschiness of it all. Every time somebody says they're too cutesy, they're too girly, they just make like an even cuter and girlier collection, and I actually love that. I feel like their products have such a sense of humor in a world where things get taken too seriously really often, I kind of feel like it's a breath of fresh air to just have fun with your makeup. I mean, this collection is so extra. It's so like glitter and diamonds and princesses, and I'd wanna love it for the same reason that I'm sure people are gonna hate it. When it comes to the actual eyeshadows in here, I felt like it was pretty hit and miss for me. Across the board, all 4 mattes have performed really well. I've had no trouble with pigmentation. I haven't had a lot of fallout. They blend really nicely. They feel smooth. I think they selected some great like supporting cast of colors as far as the mattes go. I do wish there was one more matte in this bottom row. Instead of this glittery matte black, I wish that there was just like a deep steel blue matte or something like that. But overall, happy with the mattes. And as far as the pressed glitters go, I think this is a really cool formula. I really enjoy 3 out of the 4 shades. Diamonds for Breakfast, Diamond Glitterati, Fluent, and Diamonds the Gold. All of those have performed really well for me. They adhere great to the lid. They look great over other eyeshadows without disrupting my look. The only one that I've had trouble with is the one on the bottom row, Diamond Life. I found that this particular pressed glitter is just a little bit drier. It had a lot more fallout, a lot more trouble sticking to the lid. So that's the only one that I really don't like. I think that this pressed glitter formula is pretty cool. I've never really enjoyed pressed glitters and self-adhesive glitters, but I've actually really enjoyed 3 out of the 4 in here, so we'll call that a win. The main thing I struggled with in this palette was the shimmer shades. Some of them are really soft and smooth and easy to work with, particularly the 2 on the bottom row. These ones are nice, and I like seeing these kind of shades from Too Faced. It's just a little bit outside of the norm, but still something that I think a lot of people would like to wear. I've also enjoyed using this shade Clutcher Pearls. This is a cool, different inner corner highlight type of shade for me. It also reminds me of the Diamond Fire highlighter, so I think there's a good sense of continuity there. The main shimmers that I struggled with are Filthy Rich and the Gold Don't Care at All. I found those to be a little bit drier, a little bit harder to pick up good pigmentation, even when applied with a finger. I am wearing both of those shades on my eyes right now, and I think that my look turned out really pretty. It's just not that same really soft, buttery, metallic formula that I'm used to from Too Faced. All in all, I think this palette definitely has an audience. If you want glamour, but you don't want a lot of color, this is such a great mixture of some really subtle colors, mostly neutrals. You can get a little pop. I think this is perfect for the holidays if you're looking for something really festive and bright to wear, but you're not trying to go full like primary red or too colorful, too rainbowy, but you still want that glam. Then this palette is definitely gonna get that to you. I'm sort of middle of the road on this palette. I'm not obsessed in love with it, but I definitely don't hate it. I've got some really great looks out of it. I know everybody hates like middle of the road opinions on YouTube. That's really just how I feel about this palette. For me, the star of this collection is definitely the highlighters, particularly if you like a more luminous glow. This is the thing I'll most highly recommend. I'm glad to see them releasing 3 different shades here. Instead of just reintroducing the Diamond Fire highlighter, I'm glad to see some more shades here. I would love to see even more shades from this, like a more bronzy one, and maybe even like a deeper pink. This formula is beautiful, and I think that more shades of anything is always better. A girl loves options, what could I say? Now I want to hear what you think about this collection. Which things are you most excited about? Are you going to add any of these to your wish list? Leave a comment and let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. It reminds it help. I like Too Faced blush. Hello? Is this thing on? It's just gotcha. I need more coffee. Mama's gonna need a lot of makeup wipes for this swatch video. A lot. White tape it. What? Do you know how to talk at all? There's just like glitter all over the place. So much glitter. So much glitter. Glitter for everyone!